Today I'll be reviewing the Planar 2 kilowatt diesel heater. Welcome to Call 207. My name is Larry. If this is your first time here, please consider subscribing. We appreciate you. Hit the notification bell so you know when videos are uploaded. So today I'm going to review our first use of this diesel heater. Did a bunch of research like most people do or should before making a purchase. Wasn't really sure what I wanted to buy for a diesel heater. The more I looked, the more I got discouraged on the Chinese stuff. There seemed to be more forums than information on how to fix your diesel Chinese heater. So I decided to do a little bit more research and buy once, cry once, and this is what I come up with. A little overpriced, but it's something after review, after research, after some other influencers. This is about as good as it gets. And this is something I don't want to have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and have to mess with because it's not working. I'm not saying this is impervious to anything going wrong, but history has got some pretty good reviews on this stuff and pretty good reliability. So here it is in all its glory. Comes in a nice OtterBox type case. I think this is a Nook case out of Canada. Oh boy, it's pretty rugged. Got a little intake vent here. Keep it cool. This is all self-contained, like some of them are. There's another couple of brands out there that have the tank attached. This is the intake, filtered intake for the diesel heater part itself. This will be the exhaust for the diesel heater. It's all wrapped. You can touch this when she's running. It doesn't even get hot. The plug-ins for your controller and your power. Now inside the box, it's where you store your cables. This is your power cable. Plugs into the back. This connector, it came with ring connectors. You can hardwire it to a battery or put on your, I put this on. This is just a right angle. This is called an RV aviation plug, and this fits onto my solar generator. It's a Blue Eddy AC200 Max, I believe, and it's got a 30 amp 12 volt output, and this plugs in, screws on, can't pull it out. And that's why I opted to put on that. This is your controller cable, plugs into the back. On this end of it, somewhere. This right here, this is your controller. I kind of wrapped it up in here to kind of protect it. Just plugs into this fella. Pretty basic. You can spend $150 to get a digital one, and it's sure. This works just fine, believe me. This is your temperature control. That's wide open. That's right down to pretty much nothing. Really easy startup procedure. These lights will come on after you plug it in. It tells you that you've got power. Once it's ready, it'll tell you, and you just push the start button, and you'll hear it fire up. It's pretty quiet. And this is your fan adjust. If you want to run just a fan, you can run just a fan. And we tried this out last weekend for the first time. It started out being in the mid-teens, high teens when we went to bed. It got down to the single numbers before we get up. We put it on high, not knowing how hot it was going to get. Piped it up into our rooftop tent, and holy cow, we turned it down halfway. It was 80 something degrees in there. I use a digital thermometer. It's got a hydrometer on it and a clock. Put that inside the rooftop tent in a mesh pocket, as well as a carbon monoxide detector. And it was 82 degrees and went to bed, and opened up the side windows for ventilation, and it finally cooled down. We turned the thing down, and yeah, it worked pretty slick. Even though this is only a 2,000 kilohertz, which is equivalent to 6,824 BTUs per hour. But more than adequate for the size of that tent. A lot of the Chinese diesel heaters are either 5K or 8K. More than what I really need for that tent. And if you're going to heat up multiple areas, like if you had a tent with an annex, you probably want a 5 or an 8K to heat up that space. Didn't need it. And matter of fact, this could probably still do that. But yeah, it worked flawlessly. The thing is pretty quiet once it fires up. You hear a little bit of the exhaust note coming out. It's pretty quiet. The fan itself is pretty quiet even up in the tent. I had this hose here, I just put this hose in the bag, and the heater was setting like right here, and the hose was just touching the bumper. And I go, what the heck's that rattle? And it was the hose touching. Once I did that, you could barely even hear it. But yeah, this is the hose itself that plugs in on the side there and blows your heat up in your tent or wherever you send it. But yeah, I was pretty impressed. This thing ran for 14 and a half hours. It had a full tank of fuel. Well, it wasn't quite full, but it was pretty full. And it used that much in 14 and a half hours at teens and single numbers. Well, it was wide open for a few hours until we got up in there, and then we turned it right back to probably 3/4 or 2/3 or whatever on the heat dial. And that's all the fuel it used, which is pretty impressive. Now, as far as power consumption, the thing draws like 12 to 15 amps on startup, and that's to get the diesel glow plugs fired up and turns the fan on, whatnot, and the little pump. But once it's running and at temperature, and the temperature is set, it pulls 3 to 5 amps. It's nothing. I mean, it's pretty impressive. Another advantage of this particular brand, and there's a couple others I think as well, the fuel pump is mounted isolated. Some of the Chinese ones, the tick, 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 you can hear that next door. This is pretty quiet. You can't even hear it inside this box. Plus, because of the way that it's mounted. So again, really impressed. Like a lot of things in life, not everything, but a lot of things, you get what you pay for, and this is a clear example in my opinion. Did I really need to spend as much as I did for this? Maybe not, but it's peace of mind. I've watched countless videos of people getting up at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning because the thing is messed up. Could be other reasons. Could be bad fuel, bad power source or whatever, but I got the power source dialed in. I buy good fuel. Make sure you use your fuel gel if it gets super cold so your fuel doesn't gel up, because this is sitting outside. Yeah, so pretty impressed. Yeah, this packs up. It cools down pretty quick as well. Once you fire this down, it takes 4 or 5 minutes to fire up from cold. Maybe 6 or 7 minutes tops for the cool down cycle when it shuts off, and you could practically touch this once it cools down. It does a really good job. The only other thing I did is I wasn't totally pleased with the wires that come out of these. They were kind of exposed, so I just wrapped some black tape around it just to protect them a little bit. I did the same on the controller and the power wire too, and they kind of terminated where the conduit comes out, and then you got wires. So I just a little protector, makes it a little more durable, and you don't really see the wires. And that's all I've done to really improve this thing like I really didn't think I could, but that was that. Now, as far as storage goes, you can throw this anywhere and it's going to lash down pretty good because it's got a nice rugged case, but I wanted to keep it out of the elements because we don't have an enclosed cab back here. So I just happened to have this piece of luggage kicking around. Had it around forever. It measured out both the right size, but it wasn't the right angle of the angle. So I just stood it up on, duct taped some foam in there because it's got some rivets that hold some hardware on the backside. I don't want scarring it all up. So, and yeah, I stuffed that thing in there, and it keeps it out of the elements, out of the snow and the dust and all that stuff. So Yeah. Yeah, it packs in there pretty slick. Is it necessary? Probably not, but it keeps my diesel heater all contained and out of the junk. And there it is. And it fits right there. Slicking a button. Well, that's that review of the Planar Diesel Heater. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked, give it a thumbs up. Appreciate you. Again, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. Hit the notification bell, and maybe we'll see you out on the trails. Thanks for watching.